Today's show is brought to you by howdoicreateapodcast.com. Want to create your very own podcast to promote you and your business? Learn how you can become a rockstar podcaster in 30 days or less. Just visit howdoicreateapodcast.com. That's howdoicreateapodcast.com. You know, that because we each have our own imprint, we each have our own style as well.
Yeah, of course.
And
Of course.
and I think having the confidence, it's not something, I mean, some people can fake it, but man, it's really difficult to fake it. There's an energy.
And it will get more difficult. It will get
Yeah.
more difficult. We are not in the time anymore. This was still okay until maybe 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're now moving into a time we will see those things crumble. Like they will crumble in the next 20 years so hard, like government, so many things, like that faked it.
Yep.
In
Oh,
order
I
to
hear you,
be,
sister. I hear you.
yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to Out of the Box with Christine. Are you willing to step into your greatness? Are you ready to shine? Well, get ready, Truth Seeker. You're in for an amazing ride. And now, here's the host of the show, Christine Blosdale.
Welcome back to Out of the Box with Christine. I am your host, Christine Blosdale, your expert authority business coach, helping overwhelmed entrepreneurs and solopreneurs get the word out about their amazing business, amazing coaching programs, all that good stuff through podcasting, YouTube, TikToks, you name it. And today I'm very happy to have on the show someone who is going to enlighten us a bit about how we can tap into our own abundance, which for many, especially solopreneurs, it might be a little elusive, that whole abundance, the idea of manifesting that within us. But also we're going to tap into how we can build our confidence and how confidence really can sell your brand and who you are and the gifts that you have to offer the world. So without further ado, I want to welcome my guest, Cru von Holtzendorff-Fehling. How'd I do, Cru?
Oh, you did so good.
Did I do it? Okay.
Yes.
You have one of the you have 1, 2, 3, 4 names in your name.
Yes, it's a lot of name. Can you imagine my kids that had to learn to spell that in America?
Yes. But we'll call you Cru. That's
Yes,
it.
yes.
So so welcome to Out of the Box with Christine.
Thank you very much for having me, Christine.
So I was saying before we got started, I was saying the backdrop, the scenery of where you're at right now is so beautiful. Can you tell people where you're recording from?
Yes, I'm in Santa Fe, in the desert of Santa Fe, like half hour outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico. So back there is only desert. You see?
Stunning. Amazing.
It's so beautiful. Yes, it's really beautiful here.
And you're following your heart and your intuition, and going to be relocating. But let's get down to the nitty gritty, because you've been helping people, all around the world with your coaching and your energy healing and helping them navigate where they should be, right? No matter where they are, if they're in the big city or if they're in the desert in New Mexico. Talk about a little bit about the programs that you have for your clients.
Yeah, so really mainly what I work with people is to find their own way, because what we really have to come down to at the end of all of this amazing game of creation is that every one of us has a very specific purpose in a place. Like we think of it as a puzzle, and every one of us is one piece of that puzzle. And only if we are this puzzle piece that we truly are, we will be beneficial to the whole picture. So if we tap into things that are maybe not so much our things, like it's very hard to become successful or to become confident with those things, because we're really not that. We are this maybe, let's call it like the yellow and green puzzle piece, but we see this pink and red one from someone else, and we think, oh my God, that looks so good. I want to be pink and red as well. I don't want to be yellow and green. Or it could be very subconscious, like it often is not even aware to us. So my whole work focuses on you understanding what is your puzzle piece like. I mean, what is your true quality and gift that you bring to this whole big picture, and then make you become at peace with it, because a lot of times we are not at peace with what we really are, because we have been ingrained so many ideas through childhood and society and many lifetimes, like that we believe maybe what we are is not good enough, or it is not appropriate for the society, like, I mean, so many people struggle with finding their place because they think it's not what others expect of them. It could be as easy as just the parents, but then it's wives and husbands and then maybe children that they think they need to live up to, or so there's so many reasons that keep us from being who we truly are, and that keeps us from being abundant inside and out, because how can we ever be anything abundant if we're missing completely that treasure that we are, because we are all of us exactly the way how we're meant to be. We are that amazing treasure. It's just that we have no access to being that out of like the said reasons. And so this is really everything that I do is revolving around you becoming aware and comfortable with who you really are, and then creating from that space, and that will eventually create the abundance inside and out, and also the confidence that we're looking for.
Oh, exactly. I have quite a few clients that come to me who are experiencing that imposter syndrome, and they know
Yes.
they have a passion, they have a pull that they want to, if it's either creating a podcast for their business or a YouTube channel or TikToks or whatever. And even though they have that pull and that passion, like they know that they need to do this, they want to do this, they want to share their wisdom or their expertise, and there'll be that imposter syndrome where they're in the back of their head, they're thinking, who wants to listen to me, or who's going to think that I've got the key or can help them in some way. And that's a big obstacle to sort of overcome. And I have my ways of working with people, but how do you deal with that when you have someone who has that imposter syndrome?
So most of the time, I'm German. I don't know, maybe people know, or they could have guessed with that crazy
With the name.
last name. Yeah. So Germans are very direct, as everybody knows. So all my practice is very loving, but it's also very direct. Like I will go right to where maybe it's uncomfortable or even hurt sometimes, and be very honest about what I perceive, as, okay, this can work, and because this is who you really are, and this is just something that you're trying to do because you think it's something that people want to see, so I will be very honest about this and go mainly not to that topic. Like I will look what is behind that imposter syndrome, why are they even believing that they have to do this? Why do they not trust what else is there? So I will do so many rounds around topics, and people ask me, so why are we not talking about this problem that I have? I'm like, because your problem is not your problem. We need to work our way in. We need to move things where they're able to move. We need to tip the domino that will tip all the other dominoes, that we need now, until we get to that one domino that, that is that problem, but first we have to solve so many other things, because if we throw seeds in the air, you think there's trees growing in the air? No, they don't. So we have to create a foundation, and the foundation is created by healing the things that keep us away from all of the things that really work for us. Like, for instance, I have maybe as an encouragement to other coaches that are listening and healers, like, I haven't had a website in 20 years. I haven't had I have an Instagram channel and I have a Facebook page, but they're all private, like I hardly ever use them for anything. Like, I don't have TikTok, and I have a YouTube channel, but this is also very inactive. So I don't do any advertising, and still I always have a wait list, is because I live what I do, and then it works. I only do what I'm good at. I never try to take on clients where I know I'm not the right person for. Then I find a colleague that is much better for these people. Like, I'm never afraid that I could not have enough work or something like this. Like, I project that if I am full with what I am good at, like, then I don't need to take anything else on. And then also I project full, and what I get reflected is full, because the universe is a mirror. What we project is what we get reflected. If we constantly think we have to do something other than what we truly are, then we project lack. But and then what we get reflected is lack, so it won't work. So I'm going very deep, like under every problem there is a much deeper cause, like, and to repair that. And that has often so little to do with these things that we experience in the outside. That's usually a much bigger thing. So clients stay with me in the most part for 1 year. And that's my main program, is that somebody commits to 1 year. Very intense. It's a lot of time that we spend with each other, like very intimate, because we're going to deep and honest. and but then most of them have achieved that change after a year, and they don't even know how they got there, because we took so many small steps that had so little to do with what they initially came for. But then they have created that change over this year, and then not knowing how, but it's so lasting because it's so fundamental that they will be able to continue in this change without me being there in their life, like, which is a really important topic for me. I don't want clients to
be reliant,
latch on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same here. Well, because I think also, you're a teacher, in addition to being a coach, you're a teacher, and teachers or leaders, the best thing that you can have is that you teach someone, and then they can go off and create and do, it's just that ripple effect, right?
Yes.
Which I think, I find I'm the same way. I don't want anyone to depend upon me, but to come to me when they need something that's vital. And I'm the same as you. If I feel that I cannot help a client that comes to me, if I'm not the right person, then I will send them to someone. Can I build a website? Yes. Do I want to build a website? No. Right? Can I self-publish my books? Yeah, I knock them out. But do I want to be a publisher and publish other people's books? No way. So I have people that I can refer, out to that. So I stay in my lane, so to speak.
Yeah. And that's how you're successful. Always.
Yeah.
Every one of us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's that simple, actually. But it's not that simple. I understand it. Like, if you're not there, then it's not simple, but it sounds simple.
Well, and going back to a bit of that imposter syndrome, or those limiting beliefs, it could be something that someone said to you in a schoolyard, 50 years ago, that even though you've gone through life, you've gone through your trials and your tribulations, you went to college, you went to do all this stuff, you're a professional, this or that, and those words that might have been said to you when you were 5 years old or 6 years old, they can still
Or even
be,
younger.
or even
Yeah.
younger. You're right. They can still be with you. And I think a lot of people don't realize that that's something that we have to kind of deal with, approach and deal
Yes.
with, right?
Yes. The biggest mistake that most people make is not to work on themselves, especially when they're people for other people. You know, like if they serve in their profession, other people, they're so how do you say, like their interest is so in helping others, they forget to help themselves. But it's like it's the most vital information that you can project into the universe mirror is that I care for myself, self-care. Because if you have self-care and healing is part of self-care, asking for help is part of self-care. There's all of that says I can be helped. Like I have faith that whatever I have, I can overcome. Like I can heal. I am honest with myself. And like that all projects so much abundance because self-care is self-love, you know, like that is again, it's the essence of abundance. So what we project is what we get reflected. So we have an abundant amount of clients or whatever other ways abundance can come around with. So it's so important to work on these things on a fundamental level, like meaning childhood, but sometimes it's not only childhood, you know, like it's the whole coming in, you know, from the minute that the soul has chosen to enter this plane here, and there's so many hiccups alone on that path. So I think that a really big bonus for anybody that has their own business. And actually, I have to tell you, like a lot of CEOs that run big companies, corporate, you know, like where they would never ever say out loud that they have spiritual teachers on their staff, like they do.
Did you know that podcasting is the new gold rush? Companies like Apple, Google, and Amazon certainly know that it is, and that's why they're wanting more podcast shows from interesting and beautiful souls just like you. Christine Blosdale is the author of the #1 Amazon bestseller, Your Amazing Itty Bitty Podcast Book, and she wants to help you get your very own podcast out into the world. So to book a free podcast strategy session with Christine, visit ChristineBlosdale.com. Again, that's ChristineBlosdale.com and schedule a consultation. And trust me, you'll be happy that you did.
But that's also the sign of a good teacher is teaching or coaching where someone is at, as opposed to, you know, I with my clients, I'll say, you know, is there a more technical, hard way to create a podcast for your business, to promote your business through a podcast or a YouTube channel? Yes, there is. If there's, you can go very complicated, or you can do it a very simple and easy way. And even though I guide them in a simple and easy way, I know that sometimes that's still a lot for them, you know?
Yeah.
So,
of course. Depends on who is in front of you,
who it
right?
is. I have a client that's 75 years old, and she wanted to create a podcast. She's a Reiki master healer, and she has a practice that's in Los Angeles, but she could only see so many people coming to her in this little place, you know, and one client every hour, 2 hours. And now she's got like 80 episodes. She's got a YouTube channel. And, you know, at first she was afraid of the technology. And I said, have you been on a Zoom call before? She said, yes. I said, okay, then I said, you could be a podcaster. And she went, what are you saying? Like, you know, she's from Brooklyn. She's from New York. I love New Yorkers. But she trusted me to guide her. That's the thing. As a coach, as a teacher, as a, you know, you do have to develop that trust factor, that you're not going to leave them in the dust, or that you're going to be talking so exponentially that they are left going, what is she saying? I feel stupid, or I feel less than. So, but that is the sign. You're adjusting yourself for that person.
Yeah. And that builds the foundation for anything that comes for them afterwards, right? So
absolutely,
Yeah. And it's like, there's so much in every one of us. We just have to come from the right angle and make it. And sometimes I had clients where I really thought most of the year, almost 9 months into intensive work, I was like, And I have actually never this moment until, like, with some specific people I had it. And I was like, are we ever going to get there? And then it was, like at month 14, it was all the links connected and everything was there. And it really didn't look like, but I just continued the same way. And I felt it is still the right path, so, and then all of a sudden it was all there. And this is, I think, that's the foundation building. And sometimes that takes longer. Sometimes this is very many little things that have so little to do with the actual change that you want to come about, and then all of a sudden it's there. It's like, just like this woman has now the chance to be really big, but the learning of this technology stuff is probably taken so much more time than anything else that she already knows so well. It's a kudos to her that she did that with 75.
Well, now she has and she's so loved. She's like my little cheerleader. She'll say that she'll say that I gave her the confidence, but really she had that inner strength and that inner confidence, and she knew that the end goal, which was to reach more people and to have powerful episodes that really move people, that are, it's such a good positive message as well, that she knew that was the goal, that was the most important, more than what she looked like or what she sounded like. And that's how when I'm working with someone who has a little bit of that imposter syndrome thing, I'll say, what's the goal with this? What do you want to do? Oh, well, I want to help people, or I want to I want to inspire kids to become an artist, or whatever the goal is. Then I'll say, then think about those, focus on those kids, or focus on the audience and not yourself.
Exactly. And then also understand that when you truly live what you're doing, you will sell anything.
Absolutely.
It's like I'm telling you, like, I'm 49, almost 50, and it's like I don't wear makeup ever, not during the day and not on a show or anything. Like, I just don't care. Like, I think that what I live is what is showing, and in my case, like, I want everybody to be truly who they are. I'm not dyeing my hair, like, it's gray now, getting gray, because if I do all these things, and I'm actually trying to make everybody, my product is to help people to be confident and abundant in what they truly are, and I'm putting so much makeup on, and I'm changing all my style and things like this, then I don't know how that aligns with the message, like, so if let's say you are selling makeup, like, that's your business, like that, and you're never wearing any, like, then I would also question the alignment of that, like, or but if you're selling art to little children, then it's really, how can I reach these little creative beings? And the best way to reach them is to show yourself as that creative being that you are. And so really it boils down always to being that, like, you are really cool, Christine. Like, I mean, when you just said to me that you did radio shows and producing, I could see it, like, and your whole style and the way how you are in front of the mic and how natural you are, you really live what you do, like, and that's what sells, like, that would, if I had any question now about how can I create a podcast or anything, I know exactly where I'm going.
There you go.
You're truly live in that, like, and I can feel it. So I have confidence that you will show me the way how to get there if that's what I want to do, like, so that's how anybody can sell anything to me, if they show me they're living what they're selling.
And they're confident in their ability, that because we each have our own imprint, we each have our own style as well.
Yeah, of course.
And
of course.
And I think having the confidence, it's not something, I mean, some people can fake it, but man, it's really difficult to fake it. There's an energy,
and it will get more difficult. It will get more difficult. We are not in the time anymore. This was still okay until maybe 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But we're now moving into a time we will see those things crumble. Like they will crumble in the next 20 years so hard, like governments, so many things, like that faked it.
Yep. I hear you, sister. I hear you.
Yeah.
This idea of greed and scarcity model and all of that. I really too do believe that we will. I already have embraced it and I love it. Is doing co-ventures. Working with, like, instead of going it alone, loan.
Yeah.
And having that thing of I can't share my. A lot of coaches do that too, where they're like, "No, it's mine. You can't have her."
Yeah.
But I believe that collaborative drawing it. It's like the Marvel, you got Iron Man and you got Wonder Woman and you got, Iron Man alone can't fight evil.
No.
You have to have the whole team. And so I do believe that that's the new paradigm, although we might be forced into doing that at some point. You know what? The whole COVID thing actually created more entrepreneurs and allowed more people to step outside that box of having a job and having, all that stuff. And it really did open up a lot of opportunities, and women created businesses like that.
And communities. And school, like how to educate kids, like all of this old structure, like suddenly wasn't available anymore. So people came up with amazing ideas and did so many new things. Like, I think I've always said it, like from the beginning, I mean, it's horrible for everybody that had to suffer, like through whatever it was, like I don't want to step on anybody's seat here, but it was a really good thing for this humanity, this whole break that everybody had to take, and this being thrown upon yourself because you're suddenly in solitude where you were busy and distracted before, like, and then you had to ask yourself, why is it so hard to be alone with myself? Like, and I mean, a lot of problems for people occurred through that, but these problems led, like I always say, behind crisis is abundance, because you learn so much. Like if any big healer would come and say, hey, I can take all the crisis out of your life, I would say, ciao. I don't want to talk to you any longer, because I can tell you my crisis is, or is that even a word, but more than one crisis. that was what brought me to who I am today. This is what makes me so extremely empathetic to everybody that is, no matter if it's in a job or in life with me. Like I don't have to be upset about anything, because I know there's always a reason for everything, and I know because I've been there and I had to go through it. I know how much endurance and resilience sometimes life asks for, and that you're not always nice and patient about it. And so when somebody's grumpy to me, I know they're not really grumpy at me. Like their life is just like whatever it is right now. But it's behind that is so much abundance. And so I think the COVID crisis was an amazing thing to happen for the greater context, like of what we're moving towards as humanity.
And that said, even though there was some wonderful things that did occur of it, I do believe there's still like a global PTSD, that we are still, and as humans, we're so adaptable, as well, in children as well, like, something can happen and we're like, okay, well, let's just, get back up on the horse and go. And that's what, people were so happy and relieved when things started to open up again too, so that they were like, well, we'll just forget that chapter of our lives, right? It's like being in a really bad marriage and you're like, okay, 10 years of my life were spent with this psycho whatever, but now I'm going to the gym and everything's good. You still have that PTSD.
Yeah,
Because people,
absolutely.
you couldn't visit, if you had
Yeah.
if you had a dying relative, you couldn't be with them.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I know my dad had surgery in that time, and it was very life-threatening surgery, and I was there, and all I could do is go to in Germany, like into the parking garage, like I could wave from the parking garage to his window, like I was not able to see him, and this was really like an emergency aneurysm.
oh my gosh, yeah,
Aneurysm. Yeah. So that could have gone any way, right? Like, but there was no way they would not let me, even though I'm his daughter, I could not go visit. Not for and then when he was better, like things calmed down. Of course, then the boredom comes. Like then you want to really visit and help get through all this.
yeah, yeah.
But there was no way, no, not on
And
intensive
that's
care, not
traumatic.
in,
That's
yeah,
traumatic, and especially if one
especially
loses.
for a lot of,
Yeah,
yeah,
if you lose,
also elder people.
if you lose a parent, or when they're going through that, to be alone, to be alone, meaning, I mean, they might have doctors near them or a nurse or something, but not to have their family, their spouse. That
Yeah,
that is traumatic, and that's the thing that we need to work on, I think, now,
yeah,
on
yeah,
healing, instead of just saying, okay, that was that was, that
yeah,
was a
it's
couple
over
years
with.
ago. Yeah, but my
It's
goodness,
like
I could.
childhood,
Huh?
it's the same thing that we talked initially about, like, oh, childhood, that's long over, like I got it. Like, a lot of us have PTSD from childhood events, and we don't know that we have it because we're so good at suppressing these in order to survive the next day.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
we're very, very well equipped to suppress, but eventually it will come from behind, like, and we have to deal with it. And this will be the same thing here on a global level. Let's see how we deal with it, because we have very new times that we have never had since this creation started. And so it's a really an amazing time right now, because so many things are possible. Just like your mother always said, you can do whatever you
yes,
want to do. Like, now the time says everything is possible. Every path that you guys want to take, it's possible. So what I love to tell everybody that meets me somewhere, wherever it is, here on the net or on a conference or in a session or whatever, is like, I want you to know that you're worth everything just because you are. And there's nothing that you have to achieve, and nothing that you have to be or do or anything other than what you truly are. And that learning that and really reminding yourself of that over and over and over again will create so much beautiful change in your life, and also so many opportunities to really become abundant and confident in what you really are. So it's accepting yourself as worthy just because you are, and not of what you have done or how you look or how well you're situated in the society. So this is because that's really the truth. The truth is that we're all worth everything. I didn't grow up in America. Like, we've only been here for 13 years. And when I came here, I learned about Fred Rogers. So all you Americans know Fred Rogers, and he said that same message, and then in the 40s to children. And I think that I thought, when I learned about this, I thought how beautiful that there was somebody that actually reminded everybody of this really essential truth, because I think he's the only one that I've ever seen on a big scale like that, like where really every kid knows Fred Rogers here in the States. And that was the first time that I heard somebody say that in that way on such a broad level. And I think I just want to say how much he was right, because the truth is I can see the whole of everybody. Like, I don't see just with my eyes, like I see all of you, everything that you are from the beginning till the end. And I can tell you, he's right. We are so precious. Every one of us is so precious. And it does not matter. Like babies, they can't do a thing. They can't do a thing. They can't go to the bathroom alone. They can't eat alone. They can't do anything. And we think they're so precious. So why do we forget that we can stay precious even though we can't do a thing? And then, of course, our parents think we have to learn so early, so many things in order to be better. But we were already so precious when we were born. How can we not stay precious without having to do anything? So the truth is, we really don't. We are everything all the time. And even though you right now may not know how to be all that preciousness that you are, or you have no feeling to that, or just know it in the beginning. Just keep telling yourself in the beginning. And eventually, your system will react to those words that you tell yourself that you are precious. And then who knows what you surprise yourself with.
You never know what can happen from that. Because the universe is listening.
Yes, it's always listening.
It's always listening. It's always listening to you. Your thoughts and especially what we speak. Ooh, that's why they call it spelling, right? As well. You're casting a spell. Thank you so much, Cru. And let me know. You are welcome back anytime. And please just keep me updated on what you've got going on, and we can make sure that our listeners and our viewers also are updated as well. So thank you so much for joining me today, Cru. That's been awesome.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it was so fun.
That was great. Woo, we can keep going forever.
Yes.
Thank you.
I felt the same way.
Thank you. Okay.
How many hours do we have?
You're lovely. Absolutely lovely. And I want to thank you, wonderful listeners and subscribers to the podcast. Of course, you can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, all those great platforms. But also you can watch the video of the podcast episodes on YouTube. Just look for Out of the Box with Christine. If you want more information about the show, you can go to outoftheboxwithchristine.com. And if you want more information about my coaching programs, it's christineblosdale.com. And don't fret if you don't have a pen. All those links will be in the show notes. You can just click on those links, as well as the website for my wonderful guest, Cru von Holtzendorff-Fehling. But we're just going to call her Cru. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. And as I always say at the end of these shows, please remember to think outside that damn box. Okay. Bye for now.
Yes.